Brews and Banter.
Hey, Frank.
Hey, Roman. How are you?
Doing good.
We got another special guest here. We got Coach Carl Sanfilippo. So I don't want to say former because that just doesn't seem respectful. I'm going to say most recent.
Right.
Most recent football, Baldwinsville Central School District football coach. So thank you for joining us. I know you got some stuff coming up here, and I appreciate you taking the time to be here.
As a former player, you rank up top.
Yeah.
Wait, Frank played for you?
Frank played for
I can't believe it.
Yeah.
He can't even throw the ball.
Oh, my God. This is already going to start off this way.
He was a little bigger then.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
No, it's and that's part of what we'll talk about. The thanks again, and this is just going to be a conversation we have.
Okay.
And I know that a lot of what you've done for the program and the community has always been about kids and community, and you've always been there for them. And then again, I'm not the only one that appreciates it. I'm sure everybody does.
Well, the amazing thing is that people don't realize the impact that the kids had on me. It's a two-way street, and I really learned as much from them as they learned from me.
Sure.
And that's I believe in the circle of life.
Yep. And I know things have changed quite a bit with that landscape and how that sort of, what regulations are in place and things like that for, dealing with other people. So it's a little different than it was when I was there.
Yeah, when I started, we just had this conversation last night, my wife and I. When I started, football was about 90% of it.
Mm-hmm.
What year was that, Coach?
1977.
1977.
Football was about 90% of it, Roman, and then 10% was the stuff on the outside. Mm-hmm. And in today's climate, football is about 40% of it, and 60% is everything on the outside. That's how the landscape has really changed.
And do you think it changed in a good way, or?
I think some of it in the good way. Back when I played at SU, they treated us like meat on a hoof. So I think it's changed in the protection of the players, especially at the NCAA and the NFL level. It's changed for the good. Mm-hmm. I think at the high school level it's changed. I really think that the kid today is the same as Frank was. I really believe there's no difference in the kid. Mm-hmm. I think the culture around the child has changed.
That's right. Yep.
And that's what you have to adapt to.
Yep.
We talked about this a little bit with Peter Fox about college sports. And I don't know if you know Peter Fox. He's the ESPN producer from 1978.
Yes, sir.
And so he was our guest recently, and we brought up college sports and how it's different now for the kids. And like you said, the kid's the same.
Right.
The culture is different.
I really feel the kid is the same. They're the same kid. They have the same. They're looking forward to their future. They have the same goals, the same everything. It's just the culture around them. Mm-hmm. If you take a little thing like the portal in the NCAA,
that's right. Yeah.
Used to be Penn State would come into my office and they would say, "Coach, we have 22 scholarships this year. We're looking for 3 O-linemen. We're looking for 2 defensive backs. We're looking for a tight end." Now that same college will come in and say we have 23 scholarships, but we're bringing 14 in through the portal. So now we're only going to take 9 high school kids. So that's affected the landscape of where kids end up and where they go to play, and you can see the uprising of the D3 levels, the D2 levels, because there's not a lot of places now for these kids to go.
Because of the portal.
And that's all going to change, I think. It's just starting now, but I think Belichick is going to change that whole – it's going to be more of a business for a lot of people.
Yeah, and what a hire that is for
you're going to be one and
North
done.
Carolina.
You're going to go there 1 year and go pro.
What a hire that is for North Carolina.
Yep.
You had the kid that was a quarterback for Texas last night.
Ewers,
Ewers.
Yep.
He forewent his senior year in high school to go to Texas because of the nil money. So when you take the nil in the portal, the name and likeness in the portal, it's changing the landscape of everything. And everything that happens from the NFL to college all filters down to the high school.
Right. Yeah, and they and you've got to be 1 year out of high school before you can go to pro.
Correct.
That's right. So he would just he's saving a year of eligibility or just being a year younger,
Right.
Because he's going to forget his.
And he's going to enter the portal.
Yeah.
So you had your team in a semifinal game.
Yeah.
And now you're going to enter the portal and go somewhere else.
And he's got Arch Manning,
Right.
at Texas to take over anyway. So
I just think that you still have the loyalty aspect in high school.
Yep.
I think that we're losing the loyalty and the tradition at that level.
Yep.
And I think that's going to have a big impact.
Yeah, I know. I read before. I think you stated you coached almost 1,000 seniors have
Yes.
gone through.
Yep.
So, and that's a to put it bluntly, that's a shitload of people.
Yeah.
So you've been coaching 48 years, 40 with Baldwinsville,
Right.
4 Section 3 titles.
Yep. And it's I think I came from the cloth that when you took a job, you took it.
Yep.
And
right.
you stayed for the long haul, and I think I think those days are coming to an end. You can see it at the college level, you can see it, but right now, as they're interviewing for my job, I know that 2 of the candidates are Baldwinsville alum
Yep.
that played for me.
Yep.
And my big thing is, I've told the administration, you want someone that's going to be here 25, 30
Yes,
years.
right.
You've got to keep consistency.
And that's not even limited. I mean, that's just people, jobs in general. Nobody stays.
Everybody
at their jobs
moves
anymore,
for
yeah.
a promotion.
Yep.
That's how people get their pay raise and their
Chasing
I'm going to
money.
go here and chase this.
That's right. Yep.
And we just chased. My wife and I we chased Baldwinsville.
Right. No, and I can say, I appreciate it, and I know that, I was telling Roman there's probably 30 or 40 people I can name off the top of my head right now that I played football with that we still stay in contact with.
Right.
Huntley, Judware, Stoner Half, all these guys. And it's a community that you've affected positively for that long, and there's a little bit of you can mention your name. Or that you played for you, maybe get you a little something extra when you're waiting in line or something.
Only here in Baldwinsville.
Like these,
Let me know, because I still have to wait in line.
You should start selling your stuff that you still got the tags on. Then
I should. I have closets of it.
Yeah.
But but it's a great community.
Yeah.
It's everything you would want to raise your family. I really believe.
and you
that.
grew up near Pennsylvania.
I grew up in Western New York, right down in the Pennsylvania border,
Yep.
little town called Salamanca, New York.
Okay,
And,
so Jamestown, that area. right?
Jamestown, about 20 miles from Jamestown.
Yeah.
My father ended his coaching career in Jamestown, and that's where he was from.
I remember, because I was part of the. I graduated in '91, and I remember all those games your dad would come to.
Right.
And I remember thinking about it now because you mentioned it. Right now, how much you actually look like him,
Right.
like he did then.
I get
It's
that
amazing.
I get that a lot,
And-
especially when I'm back down there.
Yeah. And so here, let's get this. I got some of these things. So let's talk about this photo.
Oh my God, unbelievable!
That one is that's so on the back of that it says Henniker game in the
Yep.
dome.
That's the Henniger game in the dome.
And there's Paulie Sidak right there in the front.
Always right there.
Yeah.
Chico Canny was their tailback.
Yeah. I wrestled him
Is that right?
and I beat him 15-0 in like 2.5 minutes.
Well, he's not here to verify this.
He doesn't have to be. I don't think he wants to admit to it. So there's that photo, right?
And that's the other thing, Frank. You see the bees on the helmet?
Yeah.
We've kept the uniform
That's right.
for 40 years.
Yeah, I've got. So your jerseys are a little different, right?
Nope, same striping, same everything. They're new and they're state of the art Under Armour. And,
Okay.
but it's the same. Yep.
Because I bought the old jersey. That was my football jersey. And the Booster Club I think was selling it for $5 or $10. So I bought that and my wife put the name on the back of it.
Nice.
Yeah, that's. Yeah.
So
they've stayed the same.
They do look very familiar.
Yeah.
So there's that photo, right? And then there's this one.
Oh my God! This was after the Saratoga game.
That one is
Right?
one. Let me see which one this is.
There's Pat Halpin.
So that's
Same
not after the
event.
Saratoga game.
Okay, that's not the Saratoga.
That, so Pat Halpin was probably like in '87.
That was a sophomore my first year,
And your first year was '85.
85. This was the 86.
Okay,
This was the 86 championship team.
because here is the prize gem right here. That's our '89 team.
The 89. Yep. Wiener, Corcoran,
Yep. That was the Saratoga game.
Danny Ryan.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Yep. And then one last really super sexy picture here I found. Who's this guy?
That was back. See, you have to understand. I grew up. That was me at SU. Roman, you got to understand. I grew up in the 70s, late 60s and 70s. So that was Vietnam. That was when I went to college, and so the hair was in.
Yeah, that's okay. Can you just turn that around and show her there? So look at that. Nice.
I'm jealous how much hair you have.
Yeah.
I mean, in that picture, you look like you're like 6'3" or 6'4" or something.
No, I was like 6'2", 260
Okay.
in this picture. Yeah, but yeah, that was, oh my God, I can't believe you found that. I can't let my granddaughter see that.
You can take it home to her if you want.
Well, can we post them?
Yes,
All
absolutely.
right, yeah, we'll get them scanned
Yep,
so we can
yep,
get in on
yep.
the podcast.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was a long time ago. That was, this was 73. That was 1973.
Do you have a Sharpie? Can Coach sign it?
Yeah, we have a Sharpie.
All right, good.
So you played offensive line when you went to SU?
I came to SU as a fullback.
Okay.
Ended up in the offensive line, then over to the defensive side of the ball. Yeah.
And no NFL experience for you?
No NFL experience.
Yep.
Nope. You have to know your limitations, and your gene pool whittles down.
Yeah.
As you get up.
Sure.
My roommate Jimmy Jerome played for the Jets for a couple of years.
I think I know him.
Okay.
He was. I think he was my gym coach at
He was
Palmer
your gym
Elementary.
coach. Yeah, he came out.
He was a
here
monster
before he went to Niagara Mohawk.
Yeah, I didn't realize his first name. He was Mr. Jerome.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
But yeah, I remember that. So I didn't remember that till just now.
Yeah, small world. He was my roommate.
Yeah, I did not know that.
At SU.
He was a super nice guy,
Great guy.
but he's a monster even as a as a teacher.
I just talked to him yesterday because
Yeah.
he's on his way to Florida today.
So do you meet up with him?
But once in a while, we'll get together. We're about 7 hours apart.
Yeah. Okay.
From where we go in Florida.
Yep.
But
Yep.
What about any of your students? Have any of them gone to NFL?
no, we haven't had any go to the NFL. I had 2 running backs when I was at CBA that went to the NFL. The Owens brothers, Dwayne
Michael.
Owens and God, I can't remember his brother's name, but they both, one played for the Steelers and one played for, I want to say, the Raiders. But,
My wife did her residency in Pittsburgh, so
Okay.
she's Steelers fan.
that's my wife's a Steelers fan as well.
Yeah, so we have the terrible towel and
Yeah. And going back, Roman, you could tell your wife the Immaculate Reception, which was the NFL Play of the Century.
Oh, okay.
That was against Los Angeles Raiders, the
Okay.
Oakland Raiders at the time, and that Franco Harris.
Yep.
Well, Marv Hubbard was on the Oakland team. He was their running back, and he was from my hometown.
Oh, nice.
Great. Great. Yeah.
We haven't seen any games in Pittsburgh. We want to. I've been to the stadium when it was Heinz Stadium. It was renamed recently.
It was
Yes.
Three Rivers.
Well, they have a big game tonight, right?
Yeah,
Is it today?
they're playing Ravens or
The Ravens. My wife's a Steelers fan. Oh,
Yeah,
my
yeah.
God. Boy, when the Steelers are on, you can't go anywhere near.
What's football like in your house?
See, my wife is a 100% football woman.
yeah,
It
nice.
just,
That's awesome.
If I told her I've got to go to the football office for 4 days, she would say okay.
In fact, you better go.
She would know exactly where I was, and when it came to football, whatever you need to do, do it.
Were you married when you taken a coach job, or that was after?
We got engaged. Got married about a year after, but while we were engaged, she went through a season, and I said to her, "You got to let me know if you can deal with this."
Yeah. So I was going to ask if she played a role in you getting this job as a coach.
Coming to Baldwinsville, which is a funny story, Frank. It's you guys just tell stories, right?
Yep. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Do whatever you want to do.
Well, I had come out here as an assistant for 1 year under Bob Casulo. Bob Casulo was the head coach out here for 1 year.
Yep.
And then Bob ended up at SU, then with the Raiders. So Bob called me and he said, would you come out and run the defense for me? And I was at CBA for 8 years. The head job came open. They told me I was too young. So I said, okay. So I called Bob. I said, Bob, I'll come out and be your defense coordinator for a year. Got done with the season, and my wife's uncle was a big businessman in Chicago. And he had a huge business right on the Magnificent Mile in Chicago. So I flew out and I interviewed with him. Yeah, he offered me a VP job in his company. I would have been making 7 times what I was making teaching. I flew back home. We had no money. We had a little Chevette, no radio, no.
Right.
Just drove home. We lived in a 2-family house in Eastwood. I think we paid $16,000 for the house, and I told her I should start packing. I accepted the job with your uncle. Start packing. I'm going to give my 2-week notice. About an hour later, Leo Johnson from Baldwinsville called me, and he said, "Come on out." It was a Sunday afternoon. He said, "Come on out here. I want to meet with you about the football job." So I drove out to Baldwinsville, just him and I, no one else on campus. And he said, "I want you to be our football coach and phys ed teacher." I said, "Okay." And drove
Just like
home,
that.
and I told my wife, "Never mind packing."
Yeah. Start unpacking.
Just like that. That's when you were saying earlier, it wasn't about the money. You were
Right.
chasing Baldwinsville.
Yeah,
The passion, yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
yeah. If you don't like what you do,
Yeah.
and it's been my experience through life that the minute you start doing things for money, you're doing it for the wrong reason, and they never end well.
Yeah.
I think they just never end well.
Yeah, if you're doing your job for the love of money, that love disappears fast.
Yeah. I never, right up until a month ago when I retired, I still when I was in the office yesterday, and I'm completely retired now. But I think if you love something, you love being there. You love the people you're around, the kids. Like with Frank. I mean, Frank, 1991. What was that?
34 years ago, huh?
34 years ago. And I think the oldest kid that ever played for me is 66. So I think it's the relationships you build. I refer to football as the F word. I really do. I think it's just a tiny little speck in your orbit.
Yeah.
And I think that everything that comes from it is what you want to cherish, is what you want to hold on to.
Yeah, I was part of football family for a very short time when I lived in Utah.
Okay.
But it's like a family.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
You get invited to family parties. The whole team shows up, or whoever can make it, and you treat coach like your father.
Well, that's it. I mean, and there's so much time you spend with it, 2 days, and then just the fact that you're in the school. So we're in school 10 months out of the year. We see you 10 months out of the year.
Exactly.
And then you go another month in October or in August when you start 2 days. So now basically you're there 11 months of our life.
Yeah,
so along with my father and you're like a
parent.
very decisive.
Like when you and George and John came to the game, it was like yesterday.
Yep.
To me,
Yep.
it was like yesterday.
And like Roman says, I mean, you invited us to the senior night. We all sat down at 8. It was just like nothing had ever happened, And you've touched a lot of lives, and I know there's a lot of people that will want to listen and watch this, and I'm sure they'll have some things to say as well.
And it's just you have to like people. You have to like people. Yeah. You have to be willing, I think, to there's give and take with everything.
Yep.
Frank, you guys, you don't know Frank, but when you guys got in trouble, some of the times once you left, I'd chuckle. I would chuckle because, I'm a firm believer, and I don't know if I should say this on your.
You can say whatever you want. Yeah.
But I'm a firm believer that boys are going to be boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things as a society, I always look at football as society. I think one of the things we need to do is teach young men how to be young men.
Right.
I think one of the big things that we've always been about is how you treat women.
That's a good. And I had that written down to talk about.
Yeah,
the respect aspect for sure.
That's huge for me.
Yep.
Is how a young man treats a woman, whether it be a girlfriend, his mother, his sister, opening the door for somebody. I mean, I think when you go forward with things, you go forward with the way you were raised.
Yep.
And that was big. I grew up my father was an Italian immigrant, and family was everything. And the way you treated people was how you were judged.
And not to get too deep into it, but you and I had a conversation, previously about a relationship I was asking you about with one of your players, and my daughter.
All right.
So I was just checking in, just make sure everything's okay,
once I found out it was your daughter, I talked to the young man.
Yep.
I told him, I said, this is family.
Yep.
This is family. So, and I just think you see so much today, and I think kids are good.
Yep.
I do not think there's such a thing
Kids
as a bad kid.
They're not born bad.
Right. There's not a bad kid. There's kids who will make wrong choices.
That's right. Yep.
And I think that if you're there to help them, put them back on the path to the right choice, I think that's what education's about. You know, and and you can see the education changing. You know, as far as kids coming out, kids getting into education changing.
Yep.
When I get into education, it was about the kid.
Yep.
And it is now. It is now, but. You went above and beyond. You went. I can remember my wife when we met. We'd take kids home. I've had players that have actually lived in our house for a month that have gotten in trouble or found themselves on the street. So and that's why when you look at it in the current culture, my wife she's a football person, and she is a coach. Whatever it takes.
That's right.
Whatever.
Yeah, and it certainly helps your position, but she understands. So it's not a wedge.
Yeah, and you get consumed.
Yeah.
It's a consuming thing. I came home, Roma, one night, and my wife is very strong-willed, very strong-willed, and she's not. There's nothing. She's a woman's woman. And so I came home one night. She doesn't allow me to cook. I don't know how to cook. That's just she doesn't want me to touch anything. So I came home one night, and I thought, geez, there's no dinner. I don't smell anything on the stove. What the hell's going on here? I yelled upstairs. We have a big old Victorian home. I yelled upstairs, nothing. I thought, oh, my God, is everything all right? So I called her, and I said, hey, what's going on? She said, what do you mean what's going on? I said, where are you? She said, I'm in Oregon, remember?
Remember?
So she had flown to Oregon to see my daughter, and I was so wrapped up with football. I came home, and I thought...
In my head, I would be like, what did I do? What did I screw up?
Right. But,
wow. Well, I mean, when you're consumed by the job and your mind is there, and it happens, sometimes I catch myself... my son or my wife is talking to me and my mind's somewhere else and I'm not paying attention, or vice versa. Sometimes I tend to talk to my wife and I can see her mind is just busy processing information and I'm just like, all right, don't need to talk right now.
Well, and that's indicative of a lot of people in the U.S., Americans.
Right.
But specifically as it relates to this circle here, we're all the same way. It's 1,000% dedicated to what you're going to do it right, and you're not going to half-ass it. You don't want to mess it up.
Right.
But then you get this associated sort of, not really aware of what's going on in life because you're focused on it so much.
Well, the part I didn't tell you was that I took her to the airport. So,
Somehow that escaped your mind.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, when I came out here, Frank, my daughter was 6 months old.
Was that the oldest daughter?
Oh, my oldest daughter was 6 months old, and now her daughter is a senior in high school.
Yes, yeah. Yep.
Here in Baldwinsville?
Right here in Baldwinsville.
Oh, how cool is that?
So,
with my daughter,
yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and then I saw your older daughters. I saw your granddaughter there, the youngest one, and I'm like, I saw you the last couple of games. I was there. And I'm like, man, you're still a little spicy. You still got some pepper in there. I'm like, how's he gonna maybe not coach anymore?
Well, you can. I'm going to tell you, I have as much energy on the field as any of my 25-year-old coaches.
Yep.
If the job entailed coming day one of practice to the end of the season, I could coach until I was 90.
Yep.
It's just what gets to you is the outside stuff.
Yeah.
And it's always been important to me that everything was about the kids.
Right.
So now I'm at a point in my life, I'm going to be 71 in a couple months. I'm at a point in my life where my wife and I have earned the right to go to Florida for a few months and get out of the snow and kind of golf and relax. And I didn't think that was fair to the kids, me not being here for 3 months. I think, if a kid's got a problem, he's got to be able to walk into your office.
Right.
And so even my decision on retiring was about the kids.
Right. Right, exactly.
And I think you have to do the right thing.
Well, and it's for you, and we didn't talk about this, but I suppose you're still accessible to people that need you.
Yes.
Even though you're now not going to be the head of the program.
Yeah, I still get messages from
Yep.
parents,
Yep.
and but yeah,
That's part of it for sure.
But last year when we were in Florida with the football committee, the Section 3 football committee, and with everything else, I think I did 32 Zoom meetings.
Yeah. Oh, God.
So it's like, so I was there, but I wasn't there.
Yep.
I'd say to my wife, well, let's tee off in a couple hours. Let me get through these meetings.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of looking forward to it.
It'll be an adjustment for sure. But
Oh, without a doubt.
you may love it and be like, man, I screwed this up for the last 40 years. I could have been doing just golf all day instead.
Without a doubt. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a change, but life's about changes.
Yep.
Your wife golfs too?
Yes, she's a better golfer than I am.
What a great team you guys are. She's, full time into football.
The only thing I don't do, Rome, is I can't cook.
Yeah, that's all right.
Just yesterday, she asked me to turn the front stove burner onto low. I didn't know how to do it.
Well, that's
It's probably safer that way also.
maybe if she would have let you do this before.
Right.
No. There's a master plan here. It's you need her.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
absolutely.
Yep.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
She's like, he's
Yeah,
not.
that's
He's not
right.
going to survive without me.
Yeah,
Well,
but
you
no,
can
we've
remember-
been married for 41 years.
Wow.
Going on 42. So, I mean,
Good for you.
it's all good.
Yep. Yep.
I love that. And what position did Frank play?
Frank was a defensive back.
Like a cornerback.
How many did you play? All from freshman or?
I was in
We were on
in
the
the
8th grade team.
Yeah. I was. Well, no. So I was Pop Warner, and then I broke my foot on the 7th and 8th grade team that year. So as a freshman,
Okay.
do you still have a freshman program?
No,
Okay.
us and CNS were the last two to have
Okay.
it, and everybody else dropped it, so we couldn't get a schedule.
Yep.
So we had to drop it.
Yep. So then and then I started from them. But my freshman year would have been whatever year that was, But yeah, I was familiar. So was Coach Arcaro before?
Coach Arcaro was the order of events was Coach Arcaro, then Coach Newfang,
Okay.
and then Coach Casulo, and then me.
Okay. I was not familiar with Newfang, but that would have been. I'm sure I probably wasn't even in. Maybe I wasn't even in middle school.
That would have been, I think, about 83, maybe.
Yeah. So those guys did not last long.
No.
Okay.
Well, since I've been at Baldwinsville, there's been 117 AA head coaches
Okay.
since
Yeah.
I've been at Baldwinsville.
Yeah. Yeah. So I saw they call you the dean of Section 3 football coaches.
I think I'd like to see these young coaches stay in for the long haul,
Yeah.
and God bless them. I hope they do.
Yep.
I think we've got some good young AA head coaches. Joe Corley at West Genesee. I think Joe's going to be in for quite a while. It's a tough,
Right.
tough thing. It's every day of the year.
Yep. No, it's and I think with the way we just talked about all these different landscapes, the younger people are going to be maybe more prepared to navigate that than maybe the legacy coaches that have didn't have to do that before and now have to
Yeah.
make sure they do.
And it's you have to in what you guys do in anything, you've got to be able to adapt.
Yep.
You have to be able to adapt. I mean, my computer skills are through the ceiling.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just now everything's on computer.
Sure.
We used to do everything on reel-to-reel tape. Now it's all
Okay.
everything is digitized, and
Yep.
it's all on computer.
Yep. Yeah, we used to watch it on VCR tapes.
Yeah,
Game tape,
VCR.
yeah.
Oh yeah, same.
Yeah.
Had to rewind it. Like, wait, go back.
Yeah. So I was just watching that. I got the VCR tape of the Saratoga game,
Okay.
and because we won. So it was Liverpool the game before that,
Right.
and we won on a field goal, and then we won the Saratoga game
On
on
three
three field goals. So we won the last two games of the season and won the intersectional title
Yeah.
on 4 field goals.
You have full game on the tape.
I do. It's the Saratoga game.
You can watch someday.
I don't know.
I'll watch
Like,
it.
like, have popcorn in bed.
Well,
with
when
me
I
or
get
something?
your email, I'll send it to you because I've got them all now on the computer. Where I
Oh,
can
nice.
Just send
Oh,
you the
that'd be
link.
great.
and-
Oh, that'd be
I'd
great.
rather have a digital one too because I'm always afraid I'm going to lose it or someone's going to have the tape.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was a good game. That was a good team.
That was a great team.
But we had such a great defense. Our defense was, I don't know what did we average? Do you know that number? Wasn't it like
It was
16 points a game we
called it
gave up?
defensive defiance.
Yeah.
No, it was less than that. It was
Yeah.
under 10. I remember coming out, a funny story. My father was a 40-year head coach. So I can remember coming out of the tunnel in the Carrier Dome, and Saratoga was warming up. And I said to my father, I said, boy, they're big. He said, yeah, they are. I said, yeah, but they put their pants on one leg at a time just like we do. My father looked at me and said, yeah, but I got to tell you something, son. Their pants are a lot bigger.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
When I moved to when I lived in Utah on the west coast, we had a large community of Tongans and Samoans. Those were our linebackers. Those were our defense lines.
Big people, yeah.
Big guys. I mean,
Big and
like,
strong.
very strong build, and just like the energy, like how much, like like when we lined up to hold those pads, where when they were pushing, I'm like, it's like we're not even there.
Yeah.
And this, a lot of them were friends, and they would come from sizes, wide receiver size to linebackers,
Yeah.
and it was, and when you invited to their family events, it's just like you treat it like one of their own.
Yeah. And it's like
amazing.
a big feast, right? Everything's just
Yeah,
like a big feast.
yeah, it's like big plates, so much food, fish.
Well, you at USC, Utah, they make a living on those kids.
That's right, yes.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Hawaii, right?
Hawaii.
Yep.
Yeah, they make a living on those kids. And they're great
They're
kids.
good players, yeah.
They're great kids. They really are.
Very dedicated. I mean, some of them were so afraid of our coach being late. Like, they would show up like with fear in their eyes if they're late.
No, I've never been to Utah, but I
Yeah.
had when I was out in December to see my daughter in Oregon, we had a layover in Utah.
Cool.
And what a gorgeous, I mean, just looking
Beautiful,
out.
like the mountains.
Unbelievable, just
yeah.
absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, I still have family there. We go visit.
Oh,
Yeah, I actually drove with my son from here to Utah and then back.
okay.
And it was just a great trip.
Yeah, you did some camping, right?
Yeah, so when my wife and I were still dating, we actually went there and did a full 4,000-mile loop. Started from Salt Lake, went down, hit all these Grand Canyon, Bryce, Zion, found this lake called Lake Powell in the middle of the desert. Went to Four Corners where you touch 4 states at the same
Right.
time.
Oh, yeah, right.
Arches back to Salt Lake, and that was very adventurous and fun. And then what my son and I did was my mom moved there, so we drove her out there. On the way back, we just kind of spent some time together. We went off-roading in canyons. We went to Yellowstone. We went to Mount Rushmore. Really wanted to hit Badlands, but just didn't have enough time. But it was just a really cool trip with my son.
It's an absolute gorgeous place.
Yeah.
Where my daughter's in Oregon, if you go up to Bend, the
Yep.
Sisters Mountains, and just unbelievable. And she lived in Hood River, Hood Mountain. Just absolutely gorgeous. Love it out there.
I was in Oregon last year,
But
and so beautiful, very dense forests.
Yes.
And Oregon is has that spot. Actually, this year is a 40-year anniversary of the movie Goonies.
Okay.
yeah, that's right.
And there's a spot in Oregon when you stand on this hill, and you remember that shot when the boat comes out of that.
Cave or whatever.
Cave.
Yeah.
It was there, so we went. We actually saw that. I have pictures.
So that movie is as old as your Baldwinsville coaching career.
Right.
That's probably what you're getting into. They're like, you take this Baldwin, it's just like the Goonies.
And it's amazing how 4 decades just flies.
That's right. But you're sharp as a tack, right? You know it all. You remember everything.
Yep.
You're naming off people. I mean, that's a lot of kids.
Yeah,
That's a lot of kids.
You know, I don't forget kids.
Yeah.
I don't.
And that's just the players that are 1,000. You had all these people you're a teacher for.
When I was in Oregon, there was a guy at TSA. He said, "Coach," and I looked at him. This was just a month ago. He said, "You remember me?" I said, "No, I'm sorry, I don't." He said, "Your first year in Baldwinsville, you had me in phys ed class. I didn't play football."
Yeah. I mean, that's got to be tough when you're, how many students would you have as a phys
my
ed
God.
teacher?
You'd have 40 in a class.
Yeah, but so 40, how many classes a year?
Five classes, so you had a roughly 250 students a year.
Yeah, so you'd have to add all that on. I mean,
Not
I
to
get
mention the kids in the school that you knew, and
Yep.
it's just a great place.
But
It really is.
And in our era, when you're saying you kind of would chuckle at the trouble we would get into, we were not. I mean, we're not felons. We weren't doing these. We were doing just dumb shit that kids do. But apparently it was. Now we find out. okayed by Coach Sanfilippo.
I mean, I think we talked about this before. As adults now, I'm thinking like, how am I alive? Like this stupid shit that we've done as kids. I'm like, how did I survive that? You know?
Absolutely.
And then we just keep our kids from doing that stupid stuff.
I just think that if you stay away from drugs, I'm very against drugs.
Yeah.
Alcohol, but you're going to do things. You're going to the people, you'll get in trouble for it. But to me, it's part of growing up. Some of it.
Yeah, and
I think there's innocent trouble, and then there's
right.
What the hell did you just do trouble?
Yeah,
you know.
And as a kid, you get intimidated by friends and influenced by what's around you. So,
well, and the other thing these kids are faced with is the social media and the iPhones.
Right? Yeah, we didn't have that.
Because it used to be if you and Frank had a problem, it was between you and Frank. Now you're bringing in another 200 people into it.
Right. Yeah,
and everybody's got an opinion.
Yeah,
so you kind of get backed into a corner.
Yeah, there was nothing that we would always keep it in house.
Yeah,
now it's almost like you can't keep it in house.
I remember, Frank, and I shouldn't tell you this, but
it's okay. Now.
Enough time has gone by. I think the statute of limitations has run out.
I hope so.
But my first year, we're 9-0, getting ready for a championship game, and I had this really good young coach. Night before the game, we had a linebacker that was a big time player. He called me and he said, about 11 o'clock at night, he said, Coach, I just saw so-and-so walking through the village drunk. I said to him, I said, no, you didn't. Go to sleep. I'll see you in the morning.
Yeah, you're mistaken identity.
You're seeing things.
Yeah, don't say that, right?
You're still sleeping. Get back in bed.
Well, sometimes you got to make that decision, right?
But
so speaking of all these years and memories, are there any games or seasons that really stand out?
You know what? And I'm not avoiding the question. A lot of people have asked me that.
Yeah.
To me, every game was as important.
As important, but is there like a moment, a play that really like
a highlight?
Like you're like, man, what a beautifully executed play and how memorable, and it's just like one of those like, wow, this is gonna go in history.
I would go season-wise my first year because I think that first year set the foundation. And probably the games that first year, we got beat in the championship game. We were 9-0, but probably the FM game. We were down 35-6, and we came back and won that game. And that, I think, set the foundation of what we became. I really do. I think that the kids today, I think, and our kids do realize that, Frank, all the guys that I look at them as foundation blocks. And I think our first 5 years set that foundation. We have that. We get the rap of always running the football. Well, we throw the ball. I think we were the fourth most the last 5 years throwing the ball, but we still have that tag of being a power run the ball. Because when I came, I remember our first coaches meeting. I told them, I said, our identity is going to be physicality. We're going to run the football, and we're going to win in the fourth quarter. And that kind of stayed with us regardless of what we did.
Yeah, question wasn't more like which child is your favorite. It was more like, and it wasn't whether you won the game or not. It's maybe a specific play that really stood out, and would just always you could replay it second to second.
Like, was there like a 99-yard rush from something? I mean, I don't know, but I know we could.
You know what? There isn't really one play
that
sticks out.
Yep.
There's every kid that played for me sticks out. And to be honest with you, I enjoy now in their later life sitting here with Frank. That sticks out to me more than any other play.
That's amazing.
Seeing kids that, and that's why I have Facebook. My Facebook is public. I have Facebook because I love seeing the pictures of the families. I love seeing their kids playing lacrosse or their kids playing football. That to me that's the win.
I love that, Coach. I'm not from here. I'm
from this country.
I'm the outsider. I moved to Baldwinsville in 2007.
Okay.
But I've grown to love Baldwinsville, and when my wife and I were thinking about buying a house, we were trying to make a decision, and she said, "I really would like our kid to go to the same schools that I went to." and I was on board with it. I said, I love how beautiful and small Baldwinsville is. I don't like the four corner traffic. Got to do something about that. We need another bridge. But it's just such a beautiful town. I'm fortunate to have, come such a long way to where I am now, and end up in this beautiful town.
It's a great place to raise a family.
Yeah,
it really
that's
is. It's a great place to raise a family. And
I believe Syracuse was rated as one of the top cities in the U.S. to raise families.
Yeah, it like I said, it's I have no regrets whatsoever.
Yeah,
no regrets whatsoever.
You chased the right dream.
Yep, I really did, and I feel very fortunate. With everything, the community, the school district, my neighbors. I mean, my neighbor on one side of me, her son played for me.
Yep.
So, it's just a great place. It really is a great place, and that's why my wife and I guess we're thinking about downsizing. She said to me just the other day, she said, "Do we need 5,200 square feet, just you and I?" I said, "Well, you never know."
It's funny.
If I want to have a couple more teams, we each can have a floor,
It's funny. Frank mentioned earlier that I'm in real estate. Last year I had 2 or 3 families that downsized.
Yeah.
Same thing, from 5,000 some square foot down to maybe 1,400, 1,600 square foot patio homes. And they love it.
Well, upkeep and taxes just kill you, really.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah. Where their kids moved on, they have their own lives now. They don't need the big home, right? You're heating all that space, you're maintaining all that space, and I think the humans are creatures of having stuff and holding on to it. So if you have extra space, you're gonna stuff.
Right.
Well, I'm a hoarder.
There's a funny skit by George Carlin. He's like, he was saying we just want stuff,
and then we buy bigger houses. Yeah. I've heard the skit. I actually saw George Carlin when I was in college.
I wish I saw him.
Me too. At the center on campus.
Oh, that's
I actually
awesome.
saw George Carlin.
My wife
introduced
me to him as a comedian, and because I would always ask her questions like, "Why is this like that?" Why is as an immigrant, I'm questioning things. She goes, "I don't know. You know what?" She goes, "Listen to George Carlin. He'll answer your questions." And that was my introduction to George Carlin. And I'm like, he makes so much sense. I understand.
And a lot of the things he said have come true.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah,
and he took the reality and turned it into comedy, and I think we're laughing about those things because we know it's true. We don't deny it, and maybe some people can't say it, but they're laughing about it. It's what it is.
Well, you're in real estate, so I mean, we have bathrooms that I think my wife goes in once or twice a week just to flush the toilet.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But that's what when I was talking earlier about how you still got energy in your youngest granddaughter. When I see her on the sideline, I'm like, "What? This girl just doesn't stop moving."
She's nasty.
It is incredible. I'm like, "Wow!" It's just, and she's just always just sitting there. Something's moving. And I said that's got to be a genetic trait there.
Yeah, they're great kids.
How old is she?
She's 5.
5.
So she's 5. I have a granddaughter in Oregon that's 5. My granddaughter here is going to be 18 next month, and my grandson is 14. Yeah.
Yeah, and what a great situation you're in, because, I've been here. I lived the last 35 years, whatever, and minus 4. So the last 31 years I lived in Baldwinsville or in close to Syracuse. But now you're coaching kids of players you had.
Oh, we've had a ton of kids.
It's interesting to be able to be around that long to let that happen.
Right. And I think we've had, and I can't remember the kid's name, but came up to me a few years ago in the weight room, told me his grandfather played for me.
Oh, jeez.
So that's what made me start thinking.
Wow. Okay.
That's what made me start thinking. No, but Reggie Johnson, I said, I message him once in a while. He messages me. He's in Atlanta. He played for me in 77. He played for me in 77. And I have a ton of, have become very good friends, kids that played for me in the late 70s.
Yep.
So it's just, to me, age is a number. The year that we're in, 2025, is a number.
Yep.
Because I think I think through life, if you just do the right thing, because when something bad happens, 90% of the people don't care,
Yep.
and 10% are glad it happened.
Yeah.
So when something happens, you've got your family, and I always considered Frank, any kid that played for me, as part of that family. John, the tragedy he just went through.
Yep.
I talk with John once in a while.
Yep.
We'll reach out to each other, and just the kids you hear from and the people you hear from. I had a girl that reconnected with me 3 years ago. Was a cheerleader, Debbie Edmonds.
I don't know what year that would have been from.
Nivens in the late 80s, mid 80s. Well, anyway, her son was a quarterback at a large high school in Texas. So she reached out to me his sophomore year, said, "Coach, check him out." And so I'm in touch with her, still.
Interesting.
A guy I coached with my first year out of college, who was the number one draft pick for the Steelers.
Nice.
For the Steelers, Bob Campbell, out of Penn State.
Oh, wait, I heard that name
Yeah,
before.
Bob Campbell out of Penn State, number one draft pick with the Steelers.
Okay.
I was in the stadium just this past summer for camp, and here comes this mammoth kid walking down the path with a woman. And I'm looking at this kid going, oh, my God. It was his grandson.
Oh,
And his mother was in town and wanted to bring him down to meet me. I haven't seen Bob in 40 years.
Yep.
wow.
And, so I've reconnected. He just sent me an email today. His name's Hunter. Just sent me an email today. He's getting ready to go on to college and ended his season in Georgia. He quarterbacks a school in Georgia, 6A high school in Georgia. So it's just the connections you make and the people that you it's tremendous.
Yep.
It really is. I just think there's no other walk of life where you can, look at things that way. I really believe that.
And it fits you perfectly because this isn't something that you're not willing to do or something that you're uncomfortable doing.
Right.
It's natural for you, so it's a natural fit.
Right.
And I think everybody sees that, so it's very comforting to know that they have something to fall back on, or at least someone to help them, or someone to help guide them, or whatever the case may be.
Now, I'm not going to lie to you. The first game next year, I won't be in town.
Yeah.
I'll be up at camp.
By choice?
By choice.
Yeah.
I'm going to be up at camp having a cup of coffee and probably wondering what's going on.
Yeah. Well,
Does
it
that
is
get
tough.
broadcasted?
They get streamed.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
local?
Yeah, they're streamed. The district has on the district web pages is streaming.
Oh, okay.
It's through what's called Huddle Focus,
Okay.
and they stream everything.
I remember our school had like a broadcast class or something like that, where the
Closed caption or something?
kids would have cameras.
Right.
No, like they would come to the game with cameras and
Oh.
connect to old internet, and like you could listen on the radio.
Dial up or something?
You could listen on the radio too, like. But I remember that because I remember when we would help the team set up at the location, our broadcast class was there, and their cameras and gear they were setting up as well. So it was interesting. Now it's like you just get on the internet, watch on your phone.
Right.
Yeah, technology is amazing, and it's got to help or have.
Oh, you
help
mentioned the VHS tapes.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it used to be if a college wanted a tape on a player, it would take me 45 minutes to dub
Right.
VHS tape. Then I would have to go to the post office and mail it. Now through Huddle, I just click the college, click the game they want, and within seconds they have.
It's sorted by dates and
Yeah, and within seconds they have the game film.
Yep.
amazing.
Would have saved me hundreds of hours. Hundreds of hours.
More golf time.
I remember trying to convert our VHSs to DVDs. I had one of those combo players.
Yeah.
Push play, push record
Yeah.
here.
It was a play and then a play record, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
We converted all the old VHS tapes to DVD.
Okay.
We went to Industrial Color Labs.
Right.
And I think we did almost 20 years worth of tape.
Wow.
Yeah.
And we
Wow.
converted.
They were busy probably for a long time.
I know there's got to be a lot of people glad you did that because how long is a VCR? Can you even buy VCRs anymore?
I don't know.
Right, exactly. But
You
then
can
got
probably
tapes,
buy it.
But then you got the tape
My wife
itself.
and I were cleaning our house, going through some of the old stuff. She goes, "Oh my gosh, she found this audio tapes," and she goes, "When I was a kid, I recorded some of the stuff on here." So she ordered this Walkman on Amazon, and it came. So we were playing, and I was listening to my wife's like baby voice. I was like, "That's so cute."
But really kind of weird too, though.
I know, but well, she always says, "I never would have thought my husband would be friends with Frank Fritcher and have a podcast together.
Yeah. I think there's probably a lot of people that are surprised that Frank Fritcher has friends.
No, just the dynamic.
Yeah.
Like she was like, yeah, he was like the popular kid in school, and then now that she's like, I'm an adult. I don't think you guys weren't friends in high school, right?
I mean, we didn't go hang out with each other.
Right.
But yeah, right.
Like, knew each other maybe, but then to have like her husband be close to you, we have like our age difference too, and just
Well, good people meet good people,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And then you surround yourself by people you want to sort of emulate or at least appreciate. And then good things happen. Bad things happen to bad people.
You know what else I like about this town too is how we get noticed around the country too. Because isn't our marching band
Marching band we have an excellent marching band.
Yeah.
Yes.
Then we performed a couple times at like Macy's Parade.
The Rose Bowl. They
Rose
actually
Bowl too.
performed at
Yes.
the Rose Bowl.
Yeah. From a small town. We talked earlier about one of the actors got the Baldwinsville.
It was Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling had the jacket, and so that gave us a highlight too.
And come to find out, he went into a thrift shop in Los Angeles and bought that jacket.
Yeah.
He liked it so much he bought it. And and as I told you earlier, his media team has reached out to me. And,
nice.
When they're in the area, we're going to set up a conference.
That'd be great.
That's perfect.
And we actually have player Jason Lombard is out in Los Angeles. Jason has they do custom, like making clothing.
Custom
design and
He's
stuff?
offered to redesign the jacket exactly the way it is.
Nice.
Okay.
And I heard from Mr. Warner,
Matt?
not Matt. His son works over here at San Miguel's. But he has one of the originals. Now,
Okay.
I have one. I haven't been able. It's in the attic somewhere.
What's the original? 85 or
I think that was 87.
because I have mine from 89.
Yeah, this was something we put out as a fundraiser.
Yep.
And I have one of those jackets in the attic. I just haven't been able to find it. But I did come across when I was looking for it, all my SU jackets, and so now I know I've got those. But
Nice.
yeah, if anything ever happens to me, Frank, you want to come over and go through my
I'll
attic.
go right in your attic. You got it.
Of course, no, I'm not here for any of the collectibles. I'm here for
You're
that.
gonna walk right by the entire house. Everybody.
Don't worry, Mrs. Sanfilippo. I won't touch the stove. I'm going to go right up to the
There are some treasures.
I imagine. Now, when you were SU, did you play with anybody like Floyd Little, Joe Morris?
Joe Ehrman, who was all-pro, was a senior my freshman year.
Barry Zonka?
No, Zonka was before me.
Okay.
Zonka was late 60s.
Okay.
Zonka was before me. Floyd Little was before me.
Yep.
Joe Ehrman was a big one. He ended up being all-pro. Ray Preston ended up starting with the Seattle Seahawks for about 10 years. The Chargers. I'm sorry, the Chargers. For about 10 years. We had a lot of guys who went to the league, but none that were. Joe was probably and which is hard for me to believe, but it just shows you what football is. Joe's a minister now in Baltimore, and he works with underprivileged kids. He does a tremendous job.
Yep. That's got to be tough because Baltimore is a little bit of a challenging city.
Yeah, no one's going to challenge him.
Right. Exactly. That's right.
But he's quite the person. But yeah.
And you still get to keep in touch with these people. Like still the people you went to college with, and Mr. Jerome we spoke about. And
I have a text thread with about 12 guys I graduated with, and we played ball together. And every day the phone's ding, ding, ding. So everybody's getting ready to go to Florida, start golfing.
So that's what we'll get, because all of ours now is like just bad dad jokes or like half naked women. But we'll get we'll eventually graduate to going to Florida and
and playing golf.
Yeah, exactly.
and that's it. Well, like I said, my wife, I got to brush up on my golf game. She embarrasses me. she comes off the tee like a monster.
Oh, nice. I saw this video recently, and the guy's trying to hit the ball off of women's tee, and there's another what do you call them, the people
the pro?
The people who like watch the golf course.
Oh, the Rangers.
The Rangers on the megaphone goes, "With the man on the women's tee, please tee off from the men's tee," and he's like, And he goes, would the man and the woman's tee please hit off men's tee? He goes, with the man with the megaphone, let me take my second shot from the women's tee. And I was like, that's me.
Well, see, what I like to do is I bought one of those water ball retrievers.
Oh, yeah.
So when I come back from Florida, my goal is 500 balls.
500 balls?
500 balls. A lot of water in the course we golf on.
Yeah.
Oh, if a good day, I'll
Is it one of those telescopic ones?
Oh, yeah. My wife will yell at me. She'll say, would you hit your next shot and get out of the water?
Yeah. I do this too. Like when I go play, if my ball gets in the brush, when I go get my ball, I come out with 2-3 others.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
That goes in my basket.
Yeah, because I'm not good enough to really care what ball I hit.
Yeah.
You know, some people want Pro Vs or something. I'll hit a range ball. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I just.
I wouldn't go that. Like
No, I wouldn't, yeah.
I wouldn't do the range balls, but I would buy like used balls or
Yeah.
AAA, 4A, grade
Right.
used balls, and I'd buy those. Sometimes if there's a sale at Dick's or something, I'll buy a couple bucks.
We haven't bought a ball since we've been going to Florida. That's how many I've got.
Nice.
I put them in bags of 100.
Nice.
And then I put the one she likes, I bag hers up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I just was in the barn today, and I saw 3 bags. She told me that, make sure I threw them in the truck when we go to Florida.
Oh, you guys drive down?
I drive down, she flies down.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, it's she doesn't do well with
I was flipping a
With being in the
house.
car with you for that long.
I don't blame her. Yeah.
I was flipping a house one time, and I walked into a barn, and there was a 6-gallon bucket, 6 or 7-gallon plastic bucket full of golf balls with multiple Titleist balls, and I was like, Yahtzee.
Yeah.
That lasted me over 3 years.
Yeah.
And that's
I'd probably never go through. I golf once a year if I get a chance. I wish I could do it more. I just don't have time. We could do a live podcast on it.
we're gonna have to do it.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll sponsor a hole or something.
Yeah.
And
You're still going to have your golf
Yeah,
event?
we have a big golf tournament.
Yep. You're still going to do that?
We're still going to do it. We're looking to see how we're going to construct it. But yeah, we're looking. We'll be doing our tournament again. And, like I said, whoever gets the job, I'll be in the back. If they need something, we'll be there to help.
Yep. Yep.
But because there's a lot involved in it. There is a lot involved.
It's good that it's not just a 100%. You're gone. You're still
Right.
there as a resource for.
Well, I did clean the office out.
Yeah.
So but again,
was that a sentimental moment?
it was.
Yeah.
It was. It was, but it was good. I'm all about the new.
Yeah.
Even when I was coaching, I'm all about the new. I think that a shot in the arm is good. I think new ideas are good. I think if you think you know everything, you might as well just.
Right.
You
That's
might as
not
well
the
just
way. Yeah.
Sit down in a rocking chair.
Yeah, that's not the way.
Yeah.
Did you have the one deep moment on your way out, like, bye?
I haven't had the last walk out yet.
Okay.
Yeah, I purposely left a couple
Yeah.
things I still have to go back.
Did you find some things like, oh shit, that's what that is? Like,
It's like a date, you
Yeah.
leave something behind.
we had what I found is we had a kid that played for us that passed away, Larry Smith.
yes.
Remember Larry?
Yeah. He was a year ahead of me. Yep.
Do you remember when he ran for student council?
Yep.
Well, Larry,
Yeah, this is like a presidential thing, right? Like
Right.
they'd have like whatever the trinkets were to hand out to
so
people.
Larry had a handmade sign that said, "Don't hate me because I'm beautiful." Larry was a
He's
beautiful.
a character, yeah.
He wasn't beautiful, and I found that.
Yeah.
I still had
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So that I'm going to keep. That I'm going to keep.
For sure. Yeah.
In the attic.
No, I don't know where that's going to go.
Okay.
I don't know where that's going to go.
The attic is going to be a museum.
The attic is, I'll tell you what, well, you want to get up there. You want to get up there. Remember the Beanie Babies?
Oh, yeah.
I think I've got 4
Yeah.
bins of them. Princess Di.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've
Yeah,
got.
those are worth money, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
My father-in-law, I think, had one of those.
Okay.
Yeah, we were going through my friend's basement through some of his like high school stuff, and then you have these 2 grown men with kids and married playing Legos
Oh,
in the basement. I was like, dude, we spent like 2 hours right now playing with Legos.
Well, guys are so simple, really. Give us a pen cap.
His mom was like,
play
"What are you
with
guys
them for
doing
days."
in the basement?" I was like,
I've got the original Barbie Corvette.
Oh,
up there. I've got the original Barbie Playhouse. I mean, the first one that ever came out.
Wow.
Frank, go to the attic.
Yeah. We don't talk about the attic. We don't
does
talk
he
about
need a map?
And you could bring Roman.
Okay,
with you.
deal. We'll set something up, but first we'll get we'll send you the email address for the video links.
Yes.
For the games.
Yeah, I'd like to have my son maybe watch some of those games.
Yeah.
My son's in a pep band, so sometimes we like to go. Like he plays at the women's basketball team, men's basketball team.
Right.
They'll be playing some hockey games. So I love seeing local sports. Really had a lot of fun watching women's game. It's too bad it's not as popular, but we were recently at the men's basketball games when they beat Georgia Tech, I think it was.
The women's basketball. Remember George Scott?
Yeah.
Well, George's daughter plays for the women's team.
Oh, that's you?
She's on a scholarship at
Oh,
SU
I didn't know that.
for the women's team.
Where's George at now?
George is in Delaware.
Yeah, because he went to SU, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's in Delaware, but
Okay.
he's she's up here playing for the women's team.
Nice. So
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
Wonder if we saw her play when we were there. But we got another game we're going to go tomorrow. I think it's women's game
Yeah,
tomorrow.
her last name is Scott.
Scott, I'll check. Maybe I'll take a picture with her and send it to you.
Yeah.
Because they were super friendly last time. My wife went up and took pictures with players, and
Right. It's tremendous. Any sport that any kid plays, any activity, it to me is the best thing in the world. Is the best thing in the world. Time management, all the different things you get out of it.
It teaches value of respect and to other people, and coordination, time management, discipline. I grew up studying martial arts and wrestling, mostly martial arts, and that taught me discipline. That got me out of some troubles, and so I feel like it's a good sport, good community and family to be part of. And some people that I meet in martial art community, no matter what kind of martial art you're doing, they're just nice people. Like very genuinely nice. Like there's one student in my class, my son and I, we signed up together to go to this martial art class, and one student there, she gets me honey sometimes. Like they're beekeepers and they make honey.
Yeah.
So once in a while, she's like, "Hey, we have some fresh honey. Here's a jar." I was like, "Thank you. I love honey."
Yep.
It's just they share eggs, and it's just like you said, any sport.
Anything you do, anything you can do, especially with the young people. Get involved, become part of something. I think it's just so important to have that identity, no matter what it is. Have that identity, and as history has taught us, with all the different churches that pop up and everything, regardless of what a person's faith is, they do well. People need to belong to something, and I don't care what it is. Get in a chess club, get in a math club, get in somewhere to go, something to set your goals.
Yeah.
And I just think that's very, very important.
Yep.
Yeah, most people realized that when COVID happened and everybody was isolated, and how much struggle it was, and how many people.
Yeah, because you want interaction. Humans want interaction.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah, I think we're designed to interact with other humans. We're not, designed to just sit at home alone and be isolated. And a lot of people, and even young kids, struggle with mental problems because of the separation like that.
Yeah, it's a lot to overcome.
Yeah.
Being locked up and being on that screen, and the studies that have come out, what the staring at the screen does to you.
Yeah.
So it's just I'm all for anything. We'll help anybody. I just think it's all tremendous.
Yep.
I really do.
That's good. Where's your next few years going to be like?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out. I don't. But the thing is, I've always been busy. So I have a big dive boat, scuba diving boat up in Alexandria Bay. So our reservations are coming in for the dive boat. We charter divers from all over the country.
So you have a diving school?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I'm a master instructor.
Okay.
And I hold a U.S. Coast Guard master captain's license.
Oh, nice.
So we have a pretty big boat up there, and we have people that come in from all over the United States to charter our boat, because the Thousand Islands, you have a lot of turn-of-the-century wrecks because those islands are rock. So prior to GPS and that type of navigation, they would rip their hulls on those islands and they would sink. Some of the wrecks we dive, one is a 700-foot wreck. The Jodrey. We dived the Keystorm, which is about a 300-foot wreck. The Vickery is a mid-1800 three-mast wooden schooner that we dive. So we have people. We run into Canada. We deal with Canadian Customs, U.S. Customs, and so we take people on all these different diving excursions.
Nice.
So it's so I'm busy.
That's great. That's great.
I heard during Prohibition there was a lot of alcohol smuggling through Alexandria.
Wish you could find those bottles unbroken.
Well, I've got a
They're in the attic.
I've got a sweet spot up there that I won't tell you where it is.
Okay. Unless we take a class.
I had an old I don't take anybody. I had an old timer come to me. He lost his fishing pole, and the fishing pole was his father's, so it had sentimental value. He said, "Would you take your boat?" I said, "Well, I don't know if I can get in there because our boat's pretty big, and the shoals and everything." So I said, "Come on, I got the plotter. Let's try." So he showed me where he dropped the pole, but the problem is when you ping it where you drop it, your boat's moving.
Oh, okay.
So, who knows how accurate. We didn't find the pole.
Yeah.
But the moral of the story is I looked on land, and you could see the pylons for where there used to be piers. And then you could see this building, all the vines growing up over it and everything. So back in the day, it was a speakeasy. And people would run their boats from Messina, and they'd stop at the speakeasy, and then they'd head to Alexandria Bay. So I put 2 or 3 divers in the water looking for his pole, and they came up with bottles and jugs that were like from the 1800s.
Were they open?
No, they were. So what used to happen back in the day, Frank, is you'd have a beer or whatever. You get done, you just throw the bottle in the water.
Yep.
And so then they started scavenging. Now they're digging in the muck and the stuff they came up with.
Yeah.
And we've been back 2 or 3 times and come up with like I said, mid-1800s with the ships, the American flag engraved in the bottles. Just unbelievable stuff.
That's high quality glass. Yeah, that's good stuff, right?
Yeah.
My wife and I always talked about wanting to get our scuba licenses, or certifications, but because we like to travel and would like to have the gear and the permits so that when we travel somewhere we can do.
Well, just let me know. We just put a post up today. There, our classes are. I've got a guy that runs all my classes, but they're starting in February.
All right, we're gonna.
What's the name of that then? So people reach you on Facebook.
That Freedom Scuba USA.
Yep.
And we're on Facebook, and we're on. But we have a website, Freedom Scuba USA. Just send a message through the website, and one of our instructors get in touch with you.
Perfect.
Excellent.
Perfect. So, you're going to stay busy. You got something to do.
Yeah, I have something to do.
Yep.
You got other hobbies besides scuba diving, golfing?
No, that's it.
That's it.
Football was
Football,
I was just wondering outside of that.
Watching football's got to be a hobby, right?
Well, I love college.
That's college football.
I
right?
love college football. I could watch. My wife will come in and say, "You're watching Northern Illinois." I say, "Yeah."
It doesn't matter. First year program, whatever.
No, I'm going to start. Some of the younger coaches have reached out to me. So, Coach, will you stop by practice and stuff? I say, absolutely.
Sure.
I'd love to stop by and and see your practice
Mm-hmm.
and things like that. But see, from the time I was 5 years old, I've been on a football field. Mm-hmm. So it's been 65 years.
Wow.
So it's going to be a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Going to be. I don't know anything else. I do, but I mean, as far as the fall,
To be disconnected like
right.
that. Yeah.
Right. So it's going to be because my dad, he was a head coach for 40 years. And I can remember being 5 years old, he'd make me come in his office, sit, and he had the projector.
Right.
And he'd make me break down film with him. I would get off the kindergarten bus at the high school when I was in school and for my dad's practice. And then I would go home with him after practice.
Nice.
So, but it's good.
great.
I'm going to, my granddaughter's a cheerleader. She's going to college. I actually have to take her to a cheer practice at Elmira College where she's going on Monday. And so I'll go down and watch her cheer competitions.
Nice.
And, as long as it's anything for a kid, I'll go watch.
Right.
I'll go watch.
I love it.
Yep.
Anything you want to add, Coach, before we wrap?
No, I just appreciate you guys having me in. It's really, I've really enjoyed it.
I'm honored to meet you in person. I heard about you from my wife, Frank always talks about it, and or any of the friends that we from the team that would talk about you. And I'm honored to meet you in person.
Well, it's been my honor to be a part of it.
Oh, thank you.
To let, and an honor for the community to let me, be here for as long as I was.
Yep.
Thank you. And I think as a local podcast, we're trying to kind of do the same, give back to community, and we're trying to invite a lot of local business owners and just people.
Well, it's tremendous. I'm going to start watching.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
I'm going to start watching.
It gets a little bit out of control sometimes, but
That's okay.
you can skip over those ones.
Yeah, that's okay. But it's just I think what you're doing is tremendous.
Yeah,
I think
thank you.
And it's a great place, and if you're adding to the community, and I think that's
that's our goal.
absolutely tremendous.
Well, we appreciate it, and we're just family men, just trying to support ourselves, our family, and other people. So it's really it's easy for us, like it is for you to be a coach. You're kind of you're able to talk to people, and you like us, and we're able to just sort of have these conversations that here we are, probably an hour in, and it's the most we've talked in. Well, we talked quite a bit at the senior dinner, but in decades. So,
but in the way my mind works, you never leave.
That's right. Yeah,
you never leave.
Understood.
You're always there.
Yep.
And I just had a kid call me. I'm trying to think, maybe 2 weeks ago. Talked to me like he had just walked out of the office yesterday. I haven't seen him in 30 years.
Wow.
So you never.
Yep.
You're always part of it. And life gets busy.
Yeah.
And I understand that. You guys have families. You have you're torn in a million different directions. Then you're going to come a day when you reach my age where you're going to slow down. Now you start taking a look at it.
That's right.
I just love just hearing what the stories you're sharing, how you have touched so many lives locally, and how that attachment you have to so many people. Like you're just saying, people just calling you and talking to you like they haven't left.
Well, and they've affected me.
Yeah,
and that's the thing that I appreciate your kindness. And the thing is, Frank, is they've made an impact on my life. I
don't think a lot of people, and you pointed that out, I don't think a lot of people realize that. I didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think that's kind of, more you affecting us than someone affecting you.
Yeah.
and just people being humble, and they don't want to think that way.
Yeah, but the impact they've had on my life has been unbelievable. Unbelievable.
That's great.
And it's kind of nice. I'll be sitting in my office, which I shouldn't tell you this, Frank, but after
That's like three things you shouldn't have told me today.
Yeah, I know it. After Penn State got beat last night, my mother hated Notre Dame. So after Penn State, I actually started watching game film.
Oh, that's
about 1:30 in the morning, my wife came down to my office and said, "What are you doing?" She said, "Do you remember you retired?"
That's right. Yeah, you gotta let it go.
But it's just the impact that it's had, and the impact the kids have had on you, and what you remember most. Back to one of your original questions, you remember the things that you didn't get right. It's if you focus on the things you got right, you're not going to ever get any better.
Yeah,
that's right.
You remember the mistakes you made.
Right, like you get better if you play against better people.
I was telling my son that because he would always ask me like, "How do we get to where we are, humanity?" I said, "We all learn from our mistakes."
Yeah.
And you're going to make them.
Yeah.
What could I have done better?
Yep.
Yeah.
I keep ledgers every day. I keep ledgers before I go to bed. I write down what did I do good, what did I do bad, and I refer back to them. Maybe I'll pull a ledger from 20 years ago. But your mistakes that you make, or the things you handled incorrectly, those are the things you have to make good on.
Yep.
In my opinion, because if you just focus on what you do good, you're never going to get better.
Yeah.
You're never ever going to get better.
Well, as a professional or as a person.
Yes.
It applies both ways.
And when you do make a mistake, you'll be lost.
But own it. Own up to it. Live up to it, and take that loss. But.
We
move
need
on from
mistakes. We need mistakes, and we need more people like you, Coach.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
But life is peaks and valleys.
Yeah.
Peaks and valleys.
So moving forward now, I know you're still going to watch game film, but I think what you can do is you can actually watch film of your wife golfing, break that down so you can figure out, and then just click a button when she comes down and make it look like football.
She's got a good swing, Frank. She comes off the tee. Oh my God! I told her you should have for the men's. I'll hit for the women's.
Yeah, see, that's it. You're gonna have to sort of study that film to.
But no, it's good, and I owe her a lot. It's just to be supportive for that long. I mean, I feel fortunate.
Yep.
I feel fortunate. Not a lot of marriages last 41 years anymore. And I feel fortunate that she's always been a part of it. Mm-hmm. She's always been vested in it. And I feel very fortunate.
That's great.
That she's allowed me to pursue that.
Sure. Yeah, you're a lucky man for sure.
Yeah.
But, well, we appreciate you. We appreciate this again. We hope you'd want to do it again at some point. Go enjoy your vacation.
Absolutely. I'll see you in April.
Enjoy your retirement. Yeah, you're welcome whenever you want.
Always welcome.
I'll see you in April.
Perfect.
Thank you, Coach.
Well, thanks again.
Bye.
Aldo Bonacci, class of 97. Coach Sanfilippo, congratulations on a fantastic career. You reached out to a lot of student athletes and made them better young men. Contact and intensity.
Hi, I'm Dana McDonald, member of the 1989 Baldwinsville Football Championship team, and just wanted to say congratulations to Coach Sanfilippo on his recent retirement.
Hey, Coach. Dave Stewart here. Just want to congratulate you on your retirement, and thank you for everything you've done for me, the town, the team, and the program. Best wishes on your retirement, and I hope to see you soon.
Hi, Coach Sanfilippo. Happy retirement. This is EJ Lawton. I could go on forever thanking you for making us better football players and better men. Pain is temporary, pride is forever. Thank you.
Hey, Coach, George Judway here. Just want to wish you congratulations on your retirement. Thank you for everything you've done in my life.
Hey, Coach, Joseph Barata here, class of 92. Just want to say congratulations on your retirement. You can't think Baldwinsville without thinking Coach Sanfilippo.
Coach John Huntley, number 14, punter place kicker, 88 to 90. Congratulations on your 40 years. And 40 more years to come, Coach. Love you. Have a great day. God bless.
Hey, Coach. Casey and Isaiah here. Just wanted to say thanks for everything you've done for the school district, the community. It was a great honor to play for you. Even greater honor to watch you coach my son. Congratulations on your retirement. Enjoy. You deserve it.
Thank you, Coach.